What is rape culture? I don't know. Google it. Alright. Let me get the glasses. According to Wikipedia, rape culture is a concept which links rape and sexual violence to the culture of a society, and in which prevalent attitudes and practices normalize, excuse, tolerate, or even condone rape. Let's talk about that. I'm going to be blunt. Rape culture is a stupidly ridiculous idea. I mean, it almost baffles me that people really honestly think that we actually live in a culture that condones rape. I mean, think about this one for a second. I'm sure everyone remembers when Chris Brown beat the shit out of Rihanna, right? You know? Everybody, the music industry didn't want to talk about Chris Brown. Nobody, a lot of people hated and disliked Chris Brown after that shit. A lot of people just couldn't take it. They hated this guy because he beat Rihanna. Now, you might say a good part of that might have to do with the fact that Rihanna has a lot of fans, but the fact still remains. A lot of people did not put up with that shit. Now, I mean, I had a girlfriend, and I can understand exactly why Chris Brown popped the shit out of Rihanna. I mean, he's not supposed to, but I understand, you know. But despite that fact, a lot of people think that just like there's no reason to hit a woman, or that women are just these sacred beings and are superior to men. That's not true at all. That's not the case. But we're not talking about that in this video. We're talking about rape culture. And I just want to use that example to show that if a culture doesn't accept hitting a woman or a man beating up a woman, what makes you think that we still live in the same culture that would condone raping someone? Before I start deconstructing this concept and this idea, I'm going to have to address what happened in Steubenville and some other cases where like a girl gets really drunk and a couple of guys have sex with her. So we all know what happened in Steubenville, or at least I hope we do. I don't have all the details, so I can't accurately describe it, but from what I know, there's a girl, I think she was drugged, and a couple of football players went from party to party having sex with her. Now, understand, that is wrong, that is disgusting, and that is wrong, 100%. But a lot of the, like the news coverage says, I think these guys got like a year in jail. I think they could be out by now, I don't know. I didn't follow the story. But a lot of people said, the news broadcast said that it's so sad that these promising young men are going to jail and that had a good football career. And while this is true, it shouldn't have been the focus. I understand a lot of people like football. I don't think it shouldn't have been condoned. I think like someone said that boys will be boys. That's wrong, that's disgusting, and that's disgraceful. And I think that's probably just one of the very few examples you could ever say where like a city, I don't think they condoned what happened, but they kind of didn't want it as sensationalized. They tried to make it look okay, and it shouldn't have been. I don't think I can really defend Steubenville. I don't really think I can, because what those guys did to that girl was wrong. It was disgusting. And that's just wrong. But this does not mean we live in a culture that condones rape. We live in a culture that condones sex. We live in a sex culture, not a rape culture. And they run, and rape and sex run almost parallel to each other. And I don't think feminists really understand this concept. You know, if you've noticed, our media is oversaturated with sexual ideas, and we have been manipulated to such a degree to where we think that we're these animalistic beings, and we just go around and we're just supposed to have so much sex with anything and everything. A lot of people think that men are just these over-sexual beings who just go around having so much sex, and that's all we think about. The only reason we talk to girls is just to have sex. That's it. That's the only purpose. And that, of course, is not true. That's not the case. But that's what the media tells us. This is what our popular culture tells us. We live in a country where even food is sexualized. Everything is sexualized. Sex, 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 sex. Our songs are sexualized. Sex, sex, sex. Sex is something that is just bombarding our conscious and subconscious mind all the time. We live in a culture that condones sex. We don't live in a culture that condones rape, because those are two different things. Now, a lot of feminists think that rape is something that can only happen to women, and this, of course, is not the case. In fact, men can get raped too. Men can get raped by other guys, like in jail. And men can also get raped by women. Except the problem is, no one really takes that seriously. a lot of feminists think that rape is something that should also be taken a lot more seriously than it is. And to be quite honest, I don't really think you can take rape any more serious than what it already is. But they don't think that a lot of people, whenever they tell like these cops or these policemen that they've been raped, that they get taken seriously, and they have to perform the rape kit. They have to, go over the event over in their heads again. And I guess honestly, this might be offensive, but you have to. If you want justice, you have to prove the validity of your claim, because we live in a culture where sex is normalized. So if you go to an authority figure, you have to prove that you did not give consent. Because, well, like I said, sex is so normal. Sex happens all the time. You can do it. You can do it whenever you want. Really, if you have the time, you can have sex anyway. So you have to prove that you did indeed get raped, and you just don't regret it. That's why they have to perform the rape kit. They have to ask you these really personal questions. And yeah, it sucks and it's hard, but if you want this person to suffer justice, well, not suffer, but if you want justice, you have to go through it. Like I said, this might be offensive, and the next thing I'm about to say is about to be super offensive. But just bear with me, because there's a point to it. Now, I've heard a lot about this concept of victim blaming, and something I'm going to have to clear up. Okay? Now, a lot of feminists think that that rape culture likes to put the blame on the victim, and like to say that it's the victim's fault, or that if the victim didn't wear the clothes she wore, if she didn't look like a slut, then she wouldn't have gotten raped or anything like that. So I'm gonna break this down. Let's talk about this victim blaming for a second, because in all honesty, it's not really victim blaming. It's really taking responsibility for the things you've done. Now I'm gonna give you an example of true victim blaming, an example of taking responsibility for yourself. True victim blaming is, first, listen to a song called "Dance with the Devil" by Immortal Technique. Okay, go listen to that. Go listen to that song. Okay, and come back to this video. Or if you've already heard the song, just keep watching. Anyway, so if it would have been victim blaming if I said the woman who got attacked and gang raped by the men and the song "Dance with the Devil," it would have been victim blaming if I said, well, she should not have been walking in that alley or take that route home. She should have found some other way to get home. So it's her fault she got raped by these 3 guys. That's victim blaming. Now you're saying it's her fault for taking a route home that she had been taking, let's just say, for 15 years. For 15 years, she worked in the same place, taking the same route, going home. That's not her fault. These guys premeditated finding some random person, and she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. But that's not her fault. She didn't do that. She didn't put herself in that situation. Here's a situation where you take responsibility on the other hand, where you're at a party, you don't know anyone there, you get super drunk, you find some cool guy that you met 3 hours ago, you go into a room and you start kissing him, and then he has sex with you. Now you need to take responsibility for that, because one, you were in a situation that you shouldn't have been. You were in a place you were unfamiliar with. You were taking substances that take you out of your right frame of mind. You went into a room with someone you just met 3 hours ago, and you had sex. Now, granted, you don't take responsibility for what the man did. You don't take responsibility for the man putting his hands on you and raping you. But you do take responsibility for putting yourself in that situation. If you are in an unfamiliar area and you go somewhere with someone whose intentions you're not aware of, you just met, then that's your fault. You put yourself in that situation. But your responsibility ends right there. Because you cannot take responsibility for the actions of another person. Your responsibility of getting raped ends right there where you put yourself in that situation. You only take responsibility for putting yourself in that situation. You cannot, it's impossible, you cannot take responsibility for someone raping you. Because, like I said, no one has any right to put their hands on you and force you to have sex with you. Alright? So like I said, there's a difference between, and a lot of feminists think that just saying taking responsibility is victim blaming. No, we're not saying that. We're not saying that. What we're saying is you gotta take responsibility for your life. It's your life. And rape is a personal crime. Rape is a crime that happens to men and happens to women. Okay? So in today's video, we're just gonna talk about women, since a lot of feminists think that it can only happen to them. Let's talk about that. Honestly, I think that women need to start taking more responsibility for themselves. And, a lot of feminists think that, it's wrong if the government says it teaches women how not to get raped instead of teaching men not to rape. I'm going to make a video about that stupid, ridiculous idea too. But today we're just talking about the rape culture idea. So, You think it's wrong if someone teaches you how not to get raped. That's stupid. That's like saying it's wrong to teach someone how to disarm a gun or get out of a bear hole, okay? Rape, like I said, is a personal crime, and so is mugging, and so is someone taking a knife and trying to kill you. You need to learn how to take responsibility for yourself. This is something I had to learn when I first got into high school. I had to learn how to fight, and I had to learn how to practice Jeet Kune Do and Wing Chun Kung Fu. Reason why I learned these martial arts is because I didn't know if I was ever going to get in a situation where I had to fight. As it turns out, like, I almost got into a fight 4 times in high school. I was able to get out of them. I think almost like 5 times. I almost got into a fight 5 times in high school. But not once was I ever really scared or afraid or that I backed down, because I was ready. I felt I had practiced enough. I sparred with my friends. And the reason why I had practiced these martial arts and gotten ready to learn how to fight was just in case I got in a situation. And I did, so it was a great thing I did, but I never had to use it, which is also good. But the point I'm making is this. I learned at a very young age, till I was 13, 14 years old, that the world doesn't revolve around me. I revolve around the world. The world doesn't adapt to me. I adapt to the world. That means I have to take appropriate steps to defend myself, not force someone else to do it for me. These feminists are saying that we need to get these laws. You can make as many laws as you want, as specific as you want. But if the person is a psychopath, if the person is a rapist, they're going to rape you regardless. And that law is not going to protect you in the heat of the moment. It might protect you legally. You might get a settlement. You might get into jail. But you still got raped. Understand, this is your life. This is your vagina. This is your virginity. This is you. This is your life we're talking about. And if you gotta do 5 push-ups every day, if you gotta do 5 sit-ups each day, if you gotta learn some martial arts, and I'm not even saying become a master. I'm not even saying get bulked up. I'm just saying learn how to at least get out of a bear hole. Learn how to evaluate a situation. If you're at a place that you've never been, learn where all the exits are. There's an exit over here. There's an exit right there. Stay close to the door in case something happens. And this isn't being paranoid. Being paranoid is being scared for no unjust reason. But you're in a situation you've never been before. So you take the appropriate steps to defend yourself. Where am I? Do I know anyone here? Can I get out of this place? I don't know this man. I don't know anyone here, so I'm not going to drink anything here. I'm not going to get unconscious or put some substance in me that's going to make me lose control of myself. This isn't victim blaming. This is taking care of yourself. Because you've never been here before. Remember that. So if you're in a situation you've never been before, you're in a state or an area you've never been, you need to get familiar. Understand where you're at. Find the exits. Find suspicious characters. Once again, this isn't paranoia. This is understanding your surroundings. It's a part of self-defense. Like I said, I'm not even saying that like you gotta become a master. But learn how to get out of a chokehold. Learn some jiu-jitsu. Learn some Wing Chun. Learn something that's going to help you be better prepared. And I'm not talking about walking around with a gun, because that's stupid. I'm not talking about that stupid feminist condom with all the blades that you put. That shit just sounds uncomfortable. You know what I'm talking about? The condom with like all the sharp edges or the glass or the blades, whatever the fuck it is, and you put it inside your vagina. First of all, rape isn't even something that just happens all the fucking time anyway. So most of the time you'll just be walking around all uncomfortable, and that's just ridiculous. And just, like I said, just learn how to fight. Just learn how to get out of situations. When you're really that scared of being raped, learn how to fight back. Don't ever give up. Struggle. Fight. And once again, it's your life, and you have to take responsibility for your life. And I think that's pretty much it for this video. But I'm going to make a video about teaching men not to rape, because that's a dumb idea. But anyway, like I said, if you are offended, please don't be. Please understand that all I'm saying is you need to take responsibility for the things that you can do. Victim blaming is wrong in its true sense. In the true sense of saying it's a woman's fault if she gets raped. It's only a woman's fault if she got raped, if she said, hey, throw me on the ground and actually it's impossible to rape someone that says raped. It's impossible because you can't rape the willing. It's impossible to rape someone that wants to have sex. Okay? So, woman, and in this video, I'm talking about a man grabbing you out of nowhere, trying to rape you. In the next video, we'll talk about this whole consent thing. But victim blaming, though, wrong. Regardless, is wrong. It's never really a woman's fault if she got raped. Okay? Because you can't take responsibility for someone else's action. You can only take responsibility for putting yourself in said situation. Alright, so that's it for this video. I want to thank you guys for taking time out your lives to sit by, watch me talk, watch me get these ideas out. You know, if you like the channel, please subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. I'll see you cool cats soon.